Hello and welcome back to another episode of Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy. I'm your host David, and we are here to talk about more things spring training, boys and girls. A couple of days ago, Tom Ricketts did an interview, um, talked about all kinds of different things, but I thought there was a few things just to note in regards to that. He talked addressed to the team. He said that's a typical thing he normally does at the beginning of the year, just talking about, hey, I'm really excited you're all here and all that fun stuff. So I think that's great that he does that. I don't know if all owners do that. Not really sure. I only follow the Cubs, but I would think that that'd be a normal thing for most owners like that to do. But some of the things that he should talk about. This is the 150th anniversary of the Chicago Cubs, which is pretty exciting. I think that's really pretty cool, to be honest. Um, he did say, and I thought that this was incredibly poignant. After the last few years, last year I didn't hide my frustration with some of the budget restraints or whatever. That the expectation is for the Cubs to win and focus for 26 and to win the division at least. I think that's a good thing. It should be expected that the Cubs win the division every year, but they need to put money into it for that to happen. I think we all agree with that. And I don't get me wrong, they did that for sure. I think they did that some last year. They really, it sucked that they didn't. The Brewers were on an insane heater, but there's really absolutely no reason to believe that they're not going to do the same thing this year. I get all the projections. I get that they traded Freddie Peralta, but they always are doing stuff like that, and then they do well. Do I think they're going to win 97 games again? Nope. Do I think that they're going to challenge for the division? Yes. And I don't think that they're the only ones. I think the Reds have a great staff. I think the Pirates have a great pitching staff. Whether or not both teams have enough offense is yet to be seen. But the Cubs are not they're clear cut favorites. But things can happen, boys and girls. So it's nice to see that that's his expectation, that it seems to be Jed's expectation, I believe, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was a really big thing. He has not said that over the last couple of years. And it's a big deal to me. He did it again. They asked him if he was going to be flexible, if there was flexibility with the payroll come deadline. He said yes, absolutely. That this is the 16th straight year that he is saying that. I think 17th actually. And I think that matters. Hopefully, we take them at the word for that. I still am frustrated that they didn't do more last year, but I get that they were. I guess I don't understand why it had to be a controllable pitcher. Why they couldn't have gotten a guy like a Zach Gallen, or a Merrill Kelly, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Those guys they wouldn't have costed as much. I still think they could have done more, but I get why they didn't get some of the guys that they were targeting because of the asking prices. They had asked him about the marquee and some of the different collective bargaining agreement issues going on. I thought this was interesting because He said that marquee he feels like is one of his greatest accomplishments as an owner for the Cubs. I think Marquee does a really good job when games are on. The pre and post game, Cole is amazing. Cole Wright, fantastic. I think that JD does a pretty good job. Boog is an amazing play-by-play announcer. I don't know that Boog is an amazing for one team play-by-play announcer. And I don't know that it's fair to ask him to do that anymore, or at this point. He's been doing national for so long. I don't know. I really like Alex Cohen. I think he does an amazing job. Like I said, Boog does a great job, but he doesn't he's not a homer at all. And it is frustrating at times. To be honest. It is what it is with it. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. So just nice. It'd be nice to have somebody who does the play-by-play who's a little more of a homer and doesn't get into stupid topics at times. But he said that he thinks it has been a success. I would like to see more Cubs coverage, like when they're not playing, but that's just me. Again, I don't think I'm the only one with that. He did say also that last year with the playoffs, how great it was to have the fans there in the playoffs at Wrigley and with all that energy and how amazing that was. And it was really nice to see them fans paid back for that. And he's hoping that that continues through this year and beyond. He has been an owner for 17 years. He was asked most of the things that he had said at his initial press conference after they bought the team, that they've kind of set out to do that. And he was asked if there's anything else he wants to do. And he said, win more World Series. That's great. We got to pony up for that, though. So hopefully we see more seasons like this than the previous few. A few more notes and stuff. I feel like I'm a little too disorganized right now. I apologize. I'm not. I've got it all right there. I'm sorry, guys. Cubs did sign Shelby Miller last weekend for 2 years at $2.5 million. I'm not sure how that's going to play out for the 26 versus 27 pay-wise. Basically, he's going to be rehabbing all year. He's not going to be available for 26. This is a move for 27. I like the move. It makes me a bit nervous, but it's minimal money. So why not? If they can get a guy who is even a semblance of what he was the last couple of years, 100% worth it, man. 100%. So, and like I said, minimal commitment just makes sense. Makes plenty of sense. The Cubs' new marketing slogan is this, in brackets. This. I kind of like it. I think they could probably do better, but I mean, I kind of like it. And I get it because you wanted to keep it simple. That stuff, it'll catch on. Like, it'll be catchy. Just, I don't know. When I first saw it, heard it, I thought it was a little anticlimactic. But I kind of like it, too. So I wish Eli was here. I'd like to see his reaction. So we'll ask him on the next episode. Moises Ballesteros, Christian Betancourt are still delayed right now and not expected in camp until at the very earliest this coming weekend because of visa issues. Camp has been going for a week and a half now, or almost a week and a half, and it sucks that they still have not been able to get there, especially Ballesteros. He is expected to be a huge part of the season, obviously. And hopefully a Rookie of the Year candidate. So the sooner we can get him in there, the better, obviously, and get that going. Fangraphs came out with their top 100 list of prospects, and they have 4. And you're going to be shocked at where some of these guys are ranked. Number 84 was Moises Ballesteros. I was a little shocked that he was the lowest of the 4. Number 71 is Jackson Wiggins. That didn't make any sense either. Kevin Alcantara is number 60. I mean, I like it. They have a little more faith in where he is than I did. To put that in more perspective, Owen Casey was 62nd. And Jefferson Rojas, who I think some of these other guys are not nearly high enough about. So I was shocked that he was above these guys, but I was loved that he was in the top 100. He's ranked 55th in the Fangraphs top 100 prospects. I'm psyched about that. I think that Rojas has got really good talent. I don't think that he's like elite in anything, but he's really good, solid everywhere. I don't know that he's going to stick at shortstop. I mean, we'll see, but he doesn't have to. Second base, third base. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Injuries happen. Nobody knows about anything. The dude's super athletic. He can play anywhere. Let's see what happens. Even if he just ends up as a guy who gets highly regarded and is traded for something else we need in the major league level. That makes sense too. You got to keep developing these guys for stuff like that. So I thought that was exciting. When I saw where he was, I was super surprised about it and the rankings for all four of those guys. But I thought it was great news too. So Zach Gallen finally signed somewhere. He went to the Diamondbacks. Made sense. Nobody else has to pay a prospect now. Nobody was going to pay a prospect, I don't think, for this guy for just 1 year. That would have been stupid, frankly. You would need at least a 2-year deal. And I get how it went so long, why he would want just a 1-year deal to kind of reset, pitch really well. If he pitches well and Arizona's not in it, I would be shocked if he's not traded. And then none of this is going to happen next year because he won't have compensation attached to him if he gets traded, because they can't do that at that point. But the dude is talented. I would have liked to have seen the Cubs get him. I just don't know how that would have worked with everybody else. Because, Zach Allen's good enough to be in his starting rotation all the time, not going to the bullpen. Jameson Taillon is good enough to be in the bullpen all the time, or in the rotation all the time, not be in the bullpen. So, and that basically, I think, would have knocked Jameson, or maybe, I don't know. Like, Shota can't do that. That would not go well with Shota, I don't think. Plus, I think Shota's going to be really good. As much as I like Jameson, he's probably the 5 on this team right now. Maybe you could argue that Cade should be the 5 just to get him acclimated a little more and everything. But when you rank these guys, I think Jameson, as good as he is, because he's solid, but in a great rotation, that's what you need. You need a really good guy who's your 5. And can, in need be, kind of bounce a little bit. But that's part of being a great team. So there's a clip of Edward Cabrera saying to an interpreter that when he steps on the mound, with all due respect, whenever the quotes start with, when he said, with all due respect, whenever I step on the mound, I think I'm the best. Gotta love that attitude. I expect all of our players to think and decide, believe stuff like that. That makes plenty of sense. Great news for Cade Horton. He's rumored to be looking very good in camp, touching 98 in the mid-February. Expected to have a slow build-up with innings. Innings will matter again, but we'll look to build him from what he did last year. So I'm hoping he can have around 130, 140 innings this year. I think that would be fantastic. Still no news about any possible extensions. I'm still hoping that they'll extend at least Nico. I think Nico makes the most sense of the guys, but I'm hoping we get a couple more even. There's so many guys who are available to leave that would suck to have to rebuild all of that. They did come out with the promo schedule for 2026. Some notable ones that I thought were notable. Kerry Wood bobblehead day on May 2nd. One of my favorite players. Probably my 3rd favorite. Maybe he and Rizzo are like right there. Sandberg, my all-time favorite. Love that dude. Nobody's ever going to replace that. That's from my childhood. But Rizzo and Kerry Wood, they're right there, man. I would probably say Rizzo's 2, Kerry's 3, but it's really, really close. And there's so many Cubs players that they're awesome, man. And have so mean a lot to a lot of us. So I think that's a big one. Kerry Wood bobblehead, May 2nd. On May 4th, they have the Cubs Grogu. I'm not sure how. I'm not into all that. I'm sorry. I should have asked my kids. His bobblehead is on May 4th. Wrigley Field replica little statue will be on June 7th. Wrigley Field marquee nightlight. I thought that was pretty cool. That will be on August 2nd. Harry Carey bobblehead will be on August 30th. 1910 replica jersey on June 5th. 1980s replica jersey on August 14th. The Cubs Hall of Fame induction will be on August 30th, and Sammy Sosa bobblehead on September 13th. I love the jersey ones that they do. The problem is that they're always too small for me. They're always extra large. I'm a 2X dude, and so they just look super tight on me, and that sucks. So, but that's what I get for being fat, man, my friends. Things happen. So there are a few other things. The CBA expires after this year. December 1st is when it expires. There's going to be expected to be a lockout. Tony Clark, who was the president of the MLBPA, the Major League Baseball Players Association, resigned suddenly. The resignation came in the wake of the government looking into financial improprieties by the union. He's been the president for over a decade, and this will likely impact what's going to happen. I mean, there's no way it can't. As long as he's been there, the leadership that he provided, from what I understand, it's expected. I don't think it's been announced. I apologize if I missed this earlier. But that the lead negotiator, I don't remember his name. I apologize, and I'll get that information another time. But he's probably going to be taken over to hopefully, at an interim basis at least, to hopefully keep some continuity. But this isn't a good thing ultimately for those of us who want baseball after this year. So I'm going to say this: I don't want to talk about this too much until after the season, because it's just going to be a cloud over us. So we don't want that. But let's enjoy 2026, boys and girls, because we don't know what's going to happen. So let's truly enjoy the moment and enjoy what's happening. I do have a couple other things. So Fangraphs had their projections come out, and the Cubs had 9 players in the top 105 of just position players. I thought that was really cool. They led baseball with that many players in that top 105. The Dodgers had 7. The Mets, Braves, and Blue Jays all had 6. So I'm going to go through. I am going to talk about the 2 catchers too, just because I thought it was interesting where they ended up at. I don't necessarily agree with all these, but it's interesting. So Miguel Amaya was 438th with a 1.1 WAR. Carson Kelly was 185th with a 2.0 WAR. I don't expect either of those 2 things to be that way. I've said before recently that I expect Amaya to take over as like the guy who plays more. But not right away. I don't think that'll happen immediately. I think he plays more against righties. Kelly will almost always play against lefties, I think. Amaya doesn't hit lefties as well. Kind of weird, but it is what it is with it. But I think Amaya is going to pick up where he left off last year. I know it was minimal last year, but also in the latter part of 24 when he was raking. And he was raking last year when he was healthy. I think he will rake again this year as well. He's something unlocked for that guy. And he's not a bad defensive catcher by any means. I think he's pretty solid. He's not as good as Kelly with it, but he's pretty good, and he's going to continue to learn, and he's going to continue to develop. And it's a good thing for the Cubs for him to be able to take that role and play in like the 60 to 65%, where Kelly plays at 35 to 40%. I would guess it's going to be 60-40 Kelly right now, and eventually it'll turn to 60-40 Amaya versus Kelly. So that's my hope. That's my expectation. I don't think that those wars will stay with where those projections are, but I thought it was interesting. Matt Shaw was the 105th ranked player on that with 2.6 WAR. Ballesteros with a 2.7 WAR, 90th. I thought that was pretty cool because, I mean, he's pretty much just going to be DHing for the most part, barring injuries. I was shocked by this one. Alex Bregman was 75th with a 2.9 WAR. He is below all those other guys that we're about to name. And I just don't think that that's going to hold. I expect because he's a great defensive player, and that matters greatly for the WAR. I think his WAR is going to be quite a bit higher. I expect it in the mid threes. So, and that would put him up in like the top 50, which is where I think he is a better spot for projecting him. But that's just me. Seiya projected or ranked 65th in these projections with a 3.1 WAR. Ian Happ 62nd with a 3.1 WAR. Michael Bush, I think, was too low, 54th with a 3.3 WAR. A little bit harder for first basemen to impact with their defense in that WAR. I get that, but I still think that's a little too low. Dansby Swanson, 37th with a 3.7 WAR. He could probably do that just defensively. Last year was he was good defensively. Don't get me wrong, but it was not his best season at all defensively. And this dude, if he adds the same kind of power and gets back to where he was in 24 defensively, his WAR is going to be quite a bit higher than 3.7. Nico Hoerner was 33rd with a 3.9 WAR, also too low. And PCA was 13th with a 4.8 WAR. I thought that was awesome. There's none of them top 10, but as a collective group, this Cubs lineup is going to be really good, I think. Are they going to have lulls? Absolutely, probably, because there's still too many guys who do that and go up and down too much. So last year, I talked about that I didn't want the Cubs to go get Bregman. I even said earlier this offseason, I didn't because I wanted Shaw to have the opportunity to be starting. I was wrong. What Alex Bregman seems to be bringing, and we'll see if I'm right on this, he's going to impact the rest of this team so much. The dude is a baseball rat who helps his teammates all the time and is continuously doing that. The reviews coming out of Boston from what he did with Rafaela, Roman Anthony, and that kid is amazing. And other Boston players, young players, has been great. PCA has talked very highly of what Dansby has done already. I think Matt Shaw has even. I'm so excited for this. I'm excited for this season. He is what I think we all thought Kyle Tucker was going to be. Tucker wasn't even close to that as far as vocally as a leader. And I'm not trying to slander Kyle Tucker. I appreciate what Kyle Tucker did when he was here. I think more than most fans do, most Cub fans. But it's just a different feel with what's happening and what you're hearing out of camp and stuff than what it was with Tucker. I think. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Tell me, leave some comments. Tell me if you guys think I'm right or wrong on that. The Cubs did have 5 starting pitchers in the top of 111. Not great. When I was kind of going through, let's see who else had. The Reds had 5 in the top 56. I thought that was incredibly impressive. Not a great thing for the Cubs. The Matthew Boyd had the highest. He and Justin Steele tied at 2.3 WAR, 39th and 40th. And Jameson Taillon was the bottom of 6 guys at 135th with a 1.4 WAR. I don't think Taillon is getting enough credit there. I did find it interesting that Ben Brown was ahead of Cade Orton, Shota Imanaga, and Jameson Taillon. Ben Brown was 7th or 3rd or 4th. I'm sorry. Jeez. 4th for the Cubs at 1.6 WAR. I don't know. I don't know. I like Ben Brown more than most, again. But if that's happening, we've had too many injuries. That's my thought. Like I said, tell me what you guys think. Edward Cabrera, by the way, is 3rd. Cade Horton, 5th. Shota 6th. Jameson 7th. The top reliever was Hunter Harvey, not Daniel Palencia, at 0.9 WAR. Don't agree with that at all either. Don't think Palencia's getting enough credit. But that's me. So, again, leave me some comments. Tell me, guys, what you guys think about those rankings and anything else that we talked about today. Everybody have a great day. I'll be back in a couple of days with another episode. Let's go, Cubs.